Good. All right. So we're going to get in and we'll do squat series as a review and press series. But before we do that, since we have everybody gathered, I don't think we're missing anybody. Everybody's here, right? Yeah. So Jen, okay. Well, we can fill her in, but there's something very important that I've spent some time, considerable amount of time, thinking about, talking with our board chair, who's Carl, who is the CEO of OPEX, about what it is that we do. And we had a conversation around what's really the impact, what's like our one key impact that we provide people, right? And that was the question that was posed. If I were to ask y'all that question, like, what do y'all think? I know those that are an intern, you haven't had experience in it, but just thinking about what y'all actually do day in and day out. What do you think we do day in, day out in terms of actually impacting people's lives? What would you say it is? Sure. Say it again. Okay. Community, fostering relationships. Yeah. Okay. Accessibility.
Like mentorship,
Uh-huh.
one-on-one and
Yeah.
vitality.
Vitality. What does that mean exactly? Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. How do we measure that? What's the impact metric? How could we actually measure those things that y'all have just said? And then share that with other people and show it objectively. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. So, you know, when I went, those are some of the things I said too when Carl posed that question to me. And it was actually another donor, a potential donor, that posed some of these questions. And that was like, yeah, you serve this many people, that's great, but what actually happens with those people? Like, what's the impact? What's the long-lasting impact? I want to know, like, if I'm investing in this, I want to know what like that actual long-lasting impact is on that individual's life, right? If we talk about just one individual. And when Carl and I discussed it, right, we came up with the term movement. Like, what we're really getting people to do is move. Like, what if we could say to people, you know, hey, you come to Noble Clay, you increase your movement, and this is an arbitrary number, by 350%, right? And so somebody comes into the doors and we ask them, hey, in the last 2 months, what does your activity look like, right? What have you been doing throughout the week? Oh, I walked my dog, 2 times a week. I go play tennis on Saturday, whatever it may be, right? And we capture that data on the front end, going, okay, here's about how much they move on a weekly basis, and then they come into us, and we have the technology to track their compliance, track their movement. We know what's being programmed. We know how much movement they're actually doing now in a week's time frame, right? And we can measure that quantitatively, and then when they leave, right, 3, 6, 9 months, a year later, we could send them an email, incentivize it, and say, how much are you now continuing to move, right? And that's a simple concept there. It's like pre-Noble Clay, during Noble Clay, post-Noble Clay. What's their movement look like, right? Why is movement so powerful? Well, we know that it begets so many other things, right? It's like you're going to sleep better, you're going to eat better, you're moving with a community, right? And there is people, and you're gaining that relationship, and you're getting all the nourishment that comes from that, right? But in essence, when we're keeping things very simple, right now our current mission, and the reason I'm sharing this with all of you, because I want everyone in here to be bought into the mission and clear on what the mission is, and centrally focused, like so that we're all moving rowing in the same direction, right? If we're all on a rowboat and we're rowing at the same cadence, the same strength, the same vigor, the same motivation, the same understanding, right? And we're all together, right, on that. And so right now, we think that our mission statement doesn't quite do that for us, right? Like, if I were to tell y'all what's our mission statement right now, how many people know that, right? And like, what does it really mean, right? Currently, it's to provide hope, while building vitality in lives through thriving fitness communities led by compassionate professional coaches, right? One, think of now, put yourself in a person that doesn't know anything, that hadn't been in Noble Clay, has no idea what we do. Now, if we said that to them, think about if you're in their shoes, what does that do to them, right? Yeah, to provide hope and build vitality, right? Exactly. It's like, what does all that mean? What does vitality mean, right? One, it's wordy, it's long, and so what we want to do moving forward is we want to reword our mission statement, rethink about what our mission is. We don't want to change our purpose. We're invigorating people to be at peace and do good. That's eternal. We'll never reach that. But that's our purpose. That's what's driving us. But currently, like, what is our mission, right? And I want to invite us all in. We don't have to do it. We're not going to do it today, but perhaps on the next session or maybe the next one, where we take a portion of this time to get on a whiteboard, and I want us to brainstorm the new mission statement together. Okay, Carl and I we could have done it ourselves, and then said, "Hey, here guys, here's our new mission statement," right? And we could have all gotten on the boat together and probably rowed at the same cadence and in the same direction. But I think it's more powerful that if we all come together and are all individually a part of the process of wording out our new mission statement, it's going to have a more powerful effect. Hands down, I believe that. So that's why I wanted to invite the entire team along, even those that haven't been with the team that very long, to be a part of it, because it's very important. And it can be very powerful if we can all wordsmith the mission statement together, right? And I want to encourage us to think about the one word as movement, right? I know that's not all we do, right? We talked about community, there's relationships. You know, if I were to think two terms, I would think it's movement and it's relationships, right? We're encouraging people to move more. Not only move more, but move well, right? That's what we're doing right here. We're learning. We're going to learn about how to set up and perform a movement pattern, and we're going to learn how to see and optimize it, and we're going to learn to understand what all those faults are and use all the appropriate cues to optimize that movement, right? Why? Because we want people moving well so that they're growing and able to move even more and become more resilient, stronger, and so on in that pattern, right? So that they can then bless their lives as they're out and about, right? We know all the energies and all the science, right? We have so much supportive science that could go into that one concept of movement, right? And it could be something as simple as like we enhance movement and human connectivity, possibly. Simple. Now think about a donor hearing something like that, right? And go, oh, by the way, that's our mission. And by the way, here's our data. Here's what we're doing. Oh, we're increasing people's movement by 350%. Again, arbitrary number. But I bet you if we actually did the research, we might be somewhere around that, of increasing their movement from what they used to move, right? And there's a lot of power in that, right? People can really get behind that, and we can organize everything that we do around collecting that data and then sharing that data with the world to say, here's why we're successful. Here's what we're doing, right? And it's very focused, right? That doesn't have to be the mission statement. This is my mind, my opinion, my thinking in that. But I want to encourage us to use it as something very, very clear and concise. And then something that's very measurable, very specific, attainable, right? And perhaps it's time bound in some degree, right? Smart. It has some meat to it that people can latch onto, and it has something that we can all go, are we missing the mark or are we not? Are we achieving this or are we not? Right? In people's lives. Is that helpful? Doesn't it make sense? So we're gonna invite you guys in on this. So we're gonna, and I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I wanted to share this with you so y'all can be thinking over the next couple of weeks around it, and then come with ideas and come with your thoughts, and we can get up on a whiteboard and put some terms up there and wordsmith it, and hopefully come out with a solid statement that we can all get behind. And once we solidify it and finalize it, I mean, we're getting it up. It's going to go out on marketing stuff. It's going to go on the website. It's going to go everywhere, right? And it's going to be something that's going to be regularly in our vocabulary, something for us to memorize, right? Something short and sweet can be memorable, right? Enhance movement. Be that. I don't know, right? But just super simple, right? Is that helpful? Is that cool? Is everybody excited about that? Yeah? You want to be a part of it? I hope you do. So All right, let's review squat. Can anybody be brave and go through the full setup and points performance of the squat, air squat? Just the setup and points of performance, not faults, cues, or anything like that. Just setup, points, performance. Basic. You want to do it? Come on, Christy!
Okay. We're gonna start shoulder width stance. Our feet are firmly on the ground. Our torso is, our lumbar is fully engaged.
Yep. How about this? This will be easier for you. Just so you guys know, it's always whenever you're dealing and coaching inside of a group, if you have the ability, always get a demo person. Here's why. Our brains, it's very hard for us to talk through and do something at the same time. And it starts to jumble us up. Does that make sense? Do you see how you're like, you got it, but you were trying to do it and talk about it at the same time. So I'll be your demo. You just talk me through it. I'll do what you tell me to do.
All right, go ahead and stand shoulder width stance apart. Feet firmly planted into the ground. Your heels are.
Do y'all hear the difference? Did y'all notice that? Much different, wasn't it? Wasn't that night and day? Completely different. Now she's flowing, man. She's in control, right? Cool. All right, we carry on.
Your heels stay planted in the ground as well. Your torso is fully engaged. Your lumbar is fully extended.
Okay.
When
That's
you
set
start
up.
the motion,
Yep.
you're going to lower your torso. Your hips are going to go down and back. Your knees are going to get in line with your toes. Eyes are on the horizon. But keep going until your knees are in line with your hip. I mean, your knee crease is in line with your hip crease is in line with your knee.
Okay.
And then fully come up. And it ends with your fully extended hips.
You got it? Good. Pretty good. What did you guys think? Yeah? Set up? Shoulder width apart? Went through a little much in the setup, right? It's shoulder width apart. Knees and hips are fully extended. Okay? Points of performance. Eyes are on the horizon. Hips go back and down. Knees are tracking the toe. Lumbar maintained. Crease the hip below the knee. Not necessarily at the knee, but below the knee. Right? Crease hip should be below the knee. Weight is in the midfoot. Right? We come back up, full extension. I like how she finished, right? You stand back up to the full extended position. Fantastic. Good stuff. What are some possible faults that you can see in the squat? Okay, heels come off the floor. What else? Chest comes forward. Okay, what else? Eyes can look down. Okay. Valgus knees. Okay. Heels come up. Okay, what else? Rounded back. Okay. What else? Yeah, hip shift at the bottom. They kind of do a little dump, a little lazy at the bottom. Okay. Okay. Not going deep enough. Good. That was the final one. Good. So those are all the possible faults. What are 3 ways that you can fix any fault? Tactile, visual, and audible cues. And there's a ton of creativity that you can that can happen within that. That's where the creativity and the art can come in for you as a coach to use those tactile cues creatively, right? And you know, again, back on the audible stuff, if you can get very creative and paint a picture for that individual in their mind, you're going to help them move really well. Okay. But also remember that everybody learns differently. Sometimes people can really catch on audible and visually, but you know, sometimes they can't, and you might have to do some tactile stuff, right? Sometimes you might find you're walking around the gym floor and you're you know, giving an audible cue to John over here who's doing an air squat, and then Sally over there is doing an air squat, and you go over and give the same cue and it doesn't compute, right? And so just note that everyone learns differently. You might have to pull different stuff out of your tool bag as you're optimizing people's performance, because again, they're individuals, they're different, and they're going to learn differently. Some are you going to have to be more patient with, right? And so on and so forth. So good. Who wants to set up points performance of the squat or the front squat? Excuse me. Does everybody have PVCs? I'll get us 2. Sure, somebody can use the training bar. Points of performance of the front squat. Set up points performance.
Are you giving it to me?
Yeah. Good. Good. All right, points of performance. Anybody want to do it? Setup, only setup and points of performance. We're going to move. Anybody? Who wants to coach it? Anybody? I'm going to call somebody. Somebody don't get in there. Olivia, let's do it.
Alright, we're gonna try this.
Yeah.
I'm very foggy today, so.
That's okay. Who's your demo?
He's actually fixing to do it. Alright.
Yeah, let's go.
So starting shoulder width apart, screw our feet into the floor, pop up shoulders. External rotation with the hands, push your elbows as far into the ceiling as you can. Nice. So we'll start with a hinge, spreading the thighs apart as we're going down, the knees in line with the toes. Bracing the core. Pushing through the ceiling with the elbows, nice and up. Going back down into it. Ball elbows, brace core, knees in line with toes. Feet, that as deep as you can go down. Up. Okay, that's all I got.
Good. 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 Well done. What'd she do really well? Cueing throughout the movement. I like it. I heard one in particularly that I liked. Yeah. Gave some like a picture of what, but it was an audible picture, right? Yeah. She didn't get in front of her and say, do this, right? Good. All right, else? What was another one? There's one I heard I liked. Drive your eyes to the ceiling, or drive your elbows to the ceiling. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Another good one for the front squat is think about lifting your chest to the ceiling when you're doing the front squat, right? Sometimes their lumbar, you can see the lumbar get a bit lazy, so you want to cue them, tighten up your lumbar by driving your chest to the ceiling, right? You want a really tight lumbar in the front squat. Okay, good. What are some areas you feel like she can improve upon?
I definitely need to have a wider squat.
Okay.
So giving the option of like you start here, but not like
Okay. Yeah, not everybody's squat stance is the same.
Because like I started going down and then I was like, well.
Okay, cool. How do y'all address that with somebody? Yeah. Yeah, remember, they know themselves better than you do or a doctor does, right? And so you always ask the question, hey, how does that feel? Is that the same, better, or worse? That's a great question to ask. Is that the same, better, or worse? Right? Do you feel like that stance is better for you? Do you feel stronger there? Do you feel tighter there? Right? How does that feel for you? Get that feedback, right? Make the small adjustments until you're there where you feel like, man, they're really looking good. Now, if they feel like they feel really good, but you look at it mechanically and it's still not there, right? Then you still have to coach up through that. But if they're saying they're feeling good and mechanically they're sound, hey, we're in a good spot. And then you can say, hey, remember that position for yourself. That's your position. That looks good, right? But again, the question is, how does that feel? Is that the same, better, or worse? And you're trialing and erroring the positions because yes, it is true that everybody's squat can be different, right? It's not all the same. So good. I felt another way that you can improve there is segmenting, just slowing down, segmenting. There's a setup. Then there's points of performances, right? Try not to bleed those too quickly. In the front squat, right? The bar is in the front rack position, touching the shoulders up against the throat. Elbows are at 90 degrees. Knees and hips are fully extended. Feet are shoulder width apart. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, if the intent is the front squat, get it out of the rack, sure. Yeah, if not, get a PVC pipe or get a bar that you know that they can maybe get the bar up, even if it's a reverse curl, that will be clean, right? So all of that's good, just depending on the situation and the intent. But if the intent is the front squat, sure, use the rack, get in it. It's good practice too of learning how to get in and out of the rack. Sure. Mm-hmm.
How do you
Yeah, go lighter. Have you ever thought about that, Q? Right? Yeah, go lighter. Yeah. Yeah. That's me. You might have seen me snatch lately. It happens, right? I got some hip issues and I rotate. Yep. I have an anti-rotation problem. Right? So there's some things that you could do, anti-rotation exercises to help. Windmills are really good for that. And you can really see a fault in people when you do windmills with a, like you can see this in me here, like, right? And then watch this side. I can't go. I'm locked, right? So there's some asymmetry there, and that shows up in the front squat and overhead squat for me. So my cue is when that starts to happen, I just got to go lighter until you address what might be the root cause of that. I don't think a cue, right, is going to, hey, stop rotating. Maybe it could. If it's a neurological thing and they're just like rotating for some reason, say, hey, can you think about taking lasers on your elbows and making sure those lasers are on the wall and they don't move, right? Maybe that's a good word picture for them. I use that with children, lasers on the wall with your elbows, right? And make sure they don't move. And if that works for them, then maybe it was a neurological thing and it's optimized and you're good to go. You can move on. Good question. Yeah, cool. So I think slowing it down, breaking it up, set up, boom. Are you good? Is the setup good? Because sometimes, right, you'll learn it. There's a concept called fix it before it gets in the tunnel. Okay, that's a concept that means there's a setup of every movement in human movement. But once that movement starts to begin, there's harder to fix if there's a fault in the setup. Once you're in the tunnel of movement, it's going to come out with a fault. So you can address most stuff right at the beginning from the setup. So that's why you want to segment to two. Let's see the setup. Does everything look great? Okay, good. Now we're going to go into the performance of the movement. And we can talk to the individual about that. And now I want you to send the hips back and down while driving your elbows up to the sky. I like it. Drive your chest to the sky. Keep your lumbar tight, core tight. Spread the floor. And I want you to crease the hip below the knee, and then come up to full extension. Right. Go. Watch it. Great. How'd that feel? Okay, good. And then make any kind of adjustments. Can you try on this next rep? Can you try to get your elbows a little higher? Go. And it's like small, one thing at a time. Let them get a movement in. See and optimize. Maybe more things come out. Whatever. All right. I'm not going too much too quick with them. That can be an easy thing to do as a new coach. And I still struggle with that myself in coaching. Is giving too much too quickly to people. Is just slowing it down with them. Okay. Good. All right, final thoughts on the front squat. Good. Yeah, what do you mean when they can't?
You don't have the wrist mobility or the ability to get your elbows up.
Yeah. What would you guys say to that? Depends. Yeah. Yeah, Frankenstein squats, absolutely. So you could do a Frankenstein squat. You could come across not a big fan. There's a reason why I'm not a big fan of that. That's internal rotation, right? It's very difficult to keep external rotation in this, right? But that you can keep external rotation. Those thumbs are up to the sky. She's externally rotating the shoulders solid. That's a front squat, right? She's just not babysitting the bar with her hands. That's the only difference. So somebody could do that. There's other things you could go to. Dumbbells, single arm dumbbell, two dumbbells, so on and so forth. Safety bar. That's why we got it, right? They can still hit the squat pattern with that safety bar. Cool. Overhead squat, real quick. Who wants to teach it? Set up, points, performance. Gabby, boom.
All right. Starting out for the front squat, you're going to take your feet anywhere from shoulder width stance or a little bit wider, depending on what's comfortable for you. Grip on the bar can be a wide grip so the bar falls at hip height. From here, bar is overhead. We are fully extended at knees and hips. Face and chest are trying to be maintained on the horizon. Then from here, keeping core engaged, lowering the hips down so that, yep, you're going as far as you can, good, and then coming up to full extension.
Okay, cool. What do you guys think? What was good? What did she do well there in her? Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Did y'all feel like the movement was faulty? Was it optimized? Fully optimized? Okay. What faults did y'all recognize? And make sure too, if you guys want, y'all feel free to move around. Y'all be coaches here. Like move around to the side, get every angle. Yeah, let's see a couple more reps. Let's see the setup. Where's she at in the setup? You got a shoulder injury? You got a shoulder injury?
No shoulder injury.
Is that bothering your shoulder there?
Yeah, like
Okay. Yeah.
I.
Whoa! Made you look. That's so good. All right.
Shoulder width or wider stance. Got the bar, your hands are at a good placement here. Bring that piece overhead. Good. Engage your core. And lower down. Yep. Good. Do a couple of them. Very good. Keep pushing up on that bar.
Good.
But yes.
Okay. Good. All right, setup. Did we get everything? We missed two things in the setup that I wanted to hear that we didn't hear. And it has happened with both of them, and it caused the movement to be a little bit faulty. It has to do with the placement of the bar and what happens at the shoulders and elbows. The bar is where? In the overhead squat. What plane of motion? Frontal, sagittal, or transverse? Right? It's in the frontal plane. Frontal plane. It splits her body in half, right? So we want the bar in the frontal plane. Shoulders are active. Elbows are locked out. Those are the setup cues. Stance, shoulder width apart, core engaged, right? Shoulders active, elbows locked out, right? And from there, right? And I'm looking. I'm like, okay, we're there. And I'm wondering, like, it's like, okay, we're close to there, right? Let me just get you here, good, and get active shoulders, good. Push them up harder on me. There we go. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, push up against my hand. Good. That's a tactile cue. You feel strong there? Now, the cue that you gave her, which reach for the sky, she's reaching for the sky, okay? Keep those active shoulders while performing the movement, okay? The movement's going to happen, hips back and down, and keep reaching for the sky as you go. Good. Good, and stand. Good, and finish in the same position that you started with. Good. Okay, a little bit more work going on up here now, right? Right, because of that setup, and that bar has to be stabilized in this movement, right? And so the shoulders must stay active and the elbows must stay locked out. The moment those elbows bend at all, that weight that she's carrying over her head exponentially goes up. Even just a little small movement of the elbow, that's why those elbows have to be locked out. Yeah. Sure. No, that bar needs to stay in the frontal plane. That bar should stay right in that midfoot. Anytime that bar deviates from that position, what's holding the bar in place? Because gravity's always going, right? It's your body that's keeping it in place. At a certain point, your body won't be able to keep that bar in place. So that bar must stay in that frontal plane, right in line with that midfoot the entire time. Does that make sense? because of physics. Because physics is always going to happen because gravity doesn't shut off, right? So regardless, now what it looks like, people look differently, but if you look at where their midfoot is and where the end of that barbell is, it's always in that plane. And if it's not in that plane, they're dropping the bar. Some are strong and they can, you might see some people, hold on to it here and there, but it's not much off that plane. Yeah, good. All right. Final question. That's the squat series. So squat. Now, if there is, there's a reason it's in that flow or that progression, because that is a very difficult movement, right? So if someone hasn't mastered the air squat, should they be doing a front squat? No, right? It's like master the squat and then get into the other weighted stuff, right? Maybe even a goblet squat, some dumbbell squats, perhaps, before getting into barbell work, right? So always think about that as you're asking the question of, should this individual be performing this particular movement, right? Only if these prerequisites have occurred in their other squat patterns. And once they master those, then they're going to be more efficient when they do get there.
If they really have injury or just limited range of motion, a lot of the ladies that we work with, like have a lot of knee and hip. They can only squat. I still encourage that.
Absolutely.
We still load that, but something in their hands.
I mean, my philosophy. I mean, this is my opinion, but I'm more. I'm like, well, if they can't get full range of motion, why not take the time to work full range of motion before taking the time to strengthening any partial range of motion, right? So I'm always first looking at, let's get the individual in full range of motion. And body weight for most people has plenty to do that with, right? It's like plenty. There's a whole type of fitness, calisthenic fitness, was really the foundation of fitness. If you think about it, it was all calisthenics for the most part, and carrying heavy stuff. Possibly, maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, if we're really mobilizing, if we're using Mosu balls against the floor, if y'all haven't seen it, it's a great tool. I haven't seen us use it much, but do we have a Bosu ball in here? Can't really do it with a med ball, but I can give you an idea of it. But like, you could take a Bosu ball. Imagine this is a Bosu ball, and you take somebody into it, and they're driving into that position, and now they're squatting. I'm in a squat pattern. I'm quadruped, but I'm squatting, right? I'm just now I don't have near as much gravity put on my system, but I'm performing the rep, and when I'm actively engaging into that, what's happening now in that is when I tell people to squat, I want you to act like you're grabbing to the ground with your feet and you're pulling yourself down. Now I'm using musculature that's actively pulling me into the ground versus allowing myself to go in the ground. There's much more tension when I'm pulling myself into the ground, right? That activity with a Bosu ball gets them to do that. And they start to feel it, right? Then you get them back on their feet and you start saying, hey, I want you to pull yourself in, right? And use the elements that you have available, like squatting to a bench or a box or a med ball, to continue to work their depth. Hey, and now the celebration for them, instead of adding weight, is, hey, you improved by an inch. Man, that's huge. Look, here's 2 inches. Look, here's 3. Now I guess where we are, right? Now it's like, hey, let's get down there. Now let's hold the bottom of this, right? Now let's see if you can hold the bottom of that squat for 30 seconds, then a minute. There's celebration. Now, if we can get people sitting here and holding this squat for 10 minutes, hanging out, right? Will we change people's lives? Massively. There's a guy I know, Kelly Starrett, who's a big mobility guy. He became famous because he got on YouTube, put a video, and he encouraged the world to get a 10-minute squat in the bottom of the squat. It literally made him famous. You think I'm joking? That's what he did. I talked to him personally. He was like, I got people to sit like people from Afghanistan. That's all I did, right? And so the point being, my point of all that is extremely valuable when it comes to people's movement. If they can hold the bottom of that squat for 10 minutes, they're going to be fine.
Knee or hip injury.
Yeah, not to go directly into that, no. Right?
But even
But-
just a question to it, a lot of there's knee pain,
If there's knee pain, yeah, I wouldn't push into any pain, but I would try to figure out what is it they can do in that pattern, right? And maybe that causes them pain because they're on their knees. Maybe it doesn't. So maybe that's their squat pattern, right? But now you're working on that, and maybe you're doing other things, maybe unilaterally to work on that knee, right? Like foot elevated knee over toe squats, or whatever, to kind of strengthening that knee up and strengthening the musculature. Do what you can around the components of the squat to then one day get them squatting without pain. But most people, they're sitting in a chair and getting out of it.
Right.
Maybe you're pulling out a chair and they're sitting down into it and trying to get up with it. And over time, they're not sitting as much. They're just kind of touching and then coming up, right? But consistency is going to be the key for that individual. It's continuously working on what they can in that pattern without exacerbating pain, right? Yeah. Is that helpful? Yeah. Cool. That's the squat series. Let's go into the press series. So you can be my demo. I'll teach the press, okay? We're going to learn push, press, push, jerk. Again, these are progressive movement patterns. But I want y'all to hear the setup of the press, and then we'll all perform it. Okay, so she's going to start with her feet. Her feet are going to be underneath her hips. Her knees, hips, and core all tight. Through her midline, she's rigid. The bar is going to be in the front rack position. On her shoulders, the hands are going to be shoulder width apart. She's going to take a full grip on the bar. So the thumb is around the bar, fingertips are around the bar. The elbows are slightly in front of the bar, not as high as our front squat. Okay? We could maybe even make a bit of a shell, so she could kind of come here and drive her elbows out a bit, and then try to pull down as much as you can. Good. And then she's bringing her rib cage down. Pull your rib cage down a little bit for me. Good. Now she's engaged. Her eyes are on the horizon, and she looks pretty good. I want you to stay there and stay rigid. Quads should be on, butt's tight, core's tight. Are they still engaged? Good. All right, from there, she's ready to begin the press. Okay? To begin the press, she's going to start with getting her head out of the way. The bar needs to travel on a straight path the entire time. Okay? So the head has to accommodate the bar, not the other way around. Okay? So the first thing she's going to do is she's going to tuck her chin. So let me come back and fix a bit of a setup. Get this bar in on your midline there. Don't leave it for me. Leave it there for me. Good. She's going to start by tucking her chin, getting her head out of the way, and then she's going to drive the bar. Go back further with me for your head. Keep going. Yeah, good. Now drive the bar straight up past your nose and fully extend your elbows and get active shoulders at the top. Good. And then pull back on the bar a bit as you're pressing. Can you pull back any further? Good. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Good. Grip the bar a little tighter for me with the entirety. Good. And then straighten your wrist just a touch. Good. And from there, she's nice and active. Go ahead and, while holding this position, pull down your rib cage for me. Good. It's really tight. Try to pull it down as much as you can. Good. Not bad. Hold there for me. I want you to just feel this position. Good. And it looks pretty solid. Now I'm just going to test the position by adding a little load. Get really active, really strong for me. Really resist me. Good. Do you feel what's going on in your body? You feel everything's on, nice and tight? Okay, we want to remain that way. Okay, good. Coming back down to this position, I want you to lead with your elbows. So bring your elbows first. Get your head back out of the way. Let the head accommodate the bar, and then come back to that setup position. Good. Not bad. Elbows slightly in front of the bar for me. Yeah, a little bit more. Good. And then pull that bar back into your throat. Good. Good. And we're still on, and the knees and hips are fully extended. Are your knees fully extended? Okay. Can you straighten them any more? Okay. Yeah, okay. Here you go. Good. All right. And now she's ready to perform another. Now I want you to go at a little bit faster pace for me, but do the same exact thing. So your head shoots out of the way. Bar straight path. Finish by pulling the bar back. Pull the bar back. Good. Tight rib cage. Good. Keep pulling the bar back. Good. I like it. Good. Not bad. And then finish with the elbows. Lead with the elbows. Lead with the elbows. Good. Head bar out of the way. Good. Back to the setup position. Good. Okay. Not bad. Another cue I could give her here is I want you to drive through your heels. Tighten your core. Now drive through your heels as you press that bar overhead. Head back hard. Head back hard. Good. Press through. Good. Keep pulling back on the bar. I like it. Do you feel it? Good. Rib cage down anymore? Good. All right. Everything's tight, right? It's all lined up.
I don't think I really understand what you mean by
Yeah, you did it.
this.
Okay. Good. Did y'all see it move a little bit? She got it tight. She got it tight. Yeah. Good. Lead with the elbows back to the setup position. Good. Head out of the way. Good. And back down. Okay. So bar came off a little bit. Not bad. It came out in front of us a little bit. Right. That's often the most common cue. The bar goes away, goes off midline to get it around the head. Okay. When we want to really get that head out of the way and finish, bar travels in a straight line. Okay. Good. All right. Thoughts on that? A very slight J, if any. Yeah, if any. But it needs to be a straight bar path. Yeah, maybe not a perfectly, in a snatch you'll see a little bit of a J happen, right? I think in a strict press you're going to see less of that. Yeah. If we were to put it like video it and kind of see it, you might see a slight bend to it coming back, but not much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 That's it. What is that? That's an audible picture, right? And it worked. That's great. I like that. Yeah, to tuck a rib cage down.
I think tuck would be a
Yeah.
where I was like trying to figure out how to
Yeah, tuck the rib cage down. You could say try to stack your rib cage to your hips. Engage your core. Squeeze your stomach. You could tactile do it. Be careful using your hand on this one. Right? Where's the rib cage? It's very close, especially if female. It's very close to a private area. Right? So, if I was coaching her one-on-one, I would have something like this in my hand, right? And we'd be back in there, and I might come in there, so she's go ahead and get in position. And I'd say, right here, just tuck down, go ahead and press. Go ahead and press it. Yeah, all the way up. Press. Good. Now I would just say, hey, tuck down your rib cage right here, right? Was that invasive to you? Yeah. I'm far away, and I'm just like, just tuck down right there. But that gave her some cue to go, yeah, tuck that down. Right, but another thing too, she didn't understand, but all she needed to know was she doing it well or not. Was she responding to what I was giving her? My response to her was, well, you did it. You did great. Right? And you felt it. And so for you to understand it necessarily right now in your head is not important as that you felt it and you did it right.
Yeah, now I understand it.
Yeah. That was enough to know that you did it. So I didn't have to go further in with that explanation to her. I just said, well, you did it. You did good. That's sometimes all you need when you're being coached. Right? It's like, oh, great. Move along. So, good. All right. Any thoughts there? Anything else? Pretty good? All right. Push press. You want to all practice? Let's do it. Everybody circle up. I'll coach you guys through. So, feet underneath the hip. Yeah. Feet underneath the hip. Lock your knees, hips out. Engage the core. Shoulders. Hands are shoulder width apart. Get a full grip on the bar. I want a full grip. So grab the bar with the thumb all the way around and fingers all the way around. Good. Elbows are slightly in front of the bar or create kind of a shell with your elbows. Okay. You could even drive your elbows out a bit if you can. Good. Maybe touch wider, Mariella, with your shoulders if you don't. Wider. Yeah, right. Yeah, better. Good. And then as you're in that position, go ahead and pull that bar down onto your shoulders some, because that's what will be happening. Good. Engage your core. Good. Elbows in front a little bit, Olivia. Good. Elbows in front, Taylor. Good. Better. Good. Feet are in good position. Everybody's locked out. Butt is tight. Okay, rib cage on. Okay, we're going to perform the movement now. Your head is going to go back out of the way of the bar. Press the bar in a straight line. Finish with active shoulders and pull back on the bar where that bar is in line with your upper back. Good. Good. Keep pressing. Lock out your elbows. Can you press any higher?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, good, good. Yeah, and then just, yeah, nice and tight here. Good, good. I dig it. It's a good finish. Good. Right there. Good. You feel that? Good. Solid. Good. 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 Keep staying there, staying nice and active. If I come down, don't let me pull you down. Good. Good. I like it. And return with your elbows leading first. Get the head back out of the way. Good. Everybody turn 90 for me. Face that wall. Good. We're going to perform the rep again. Everybody get nice and tight. Think about your setup. Where's your elbows? Slightly in front of the bar. Good. Maybe a little bit more, Gab. Good. I like it. Good. Rib cage is on. Tight core. Good. Good. Try not to lean back any. Just stand straight, nice and tall, Max. Yeah. Good. Elbows down just a touch, Max. Just a touch. Good. I like it. Good. Pull the bar back onto your throat there, Olivia. Good. And elbows slightly in front. Good. Keep pulling back on the bar as you do that. Good. Excellent. You feel yourself? Good. Well done. All right. From there, we're going to look straight ahead there, Brady. Good. Pull your head back just a touch, Brady. Good. Yep. I like it. Good. From there, we're going to press. I want y'all all to think driving through the heels into the ground as you press. Head shoots out of the way and go ahead and press. Good. And finish. Good adjustment, Mariella. Good. Bring the bar forward just a touch, Max. Just a touch. Good. Stop. Good. And press up on the bar. Good. Keep pressing hard, hard, hard. Good. And return. Back to the setup. Elbows are in front. Head back out of the way. Good. Again, ready. Press. Good. Reset. Good. Ready. Press. Good. Reset. Good. Ready. Now don't hit my arm. Ready. And press. Better. So you kept it tighter. You didn't go away from your head. Good. Reset. Good. Ready. Don't hit my arm. Ready. Press. Better. You feel the difference? Good. Reset. Do it again. Good. Elbows in front. Get it up on your throat. Good. Elbows in front. Rib cage down a bit. Good. Ready. Press. Good. Solid. Reset. And relax. Good. Good work. All right. We're staying in this format to learn the push press and push jerk. Okay? So we can go through it. Setup is the same exact as the push press. Okay? There's nothing different. It's the same position. The only thing that's going to change is the point of performance. We're going to have a dip in the hip. We're going to dip, drive, and then press. Those are three things. Dip, drive, press. Okay? Let's all see us do it. Let's get in a good setup position. Elbows, the bar should be on that throat. Elbows should be slightly in front. Core is on, quads on, knees and hips extended. You're still driving through the heels into the ground. Okay, we're going to have a slight dip, 2 to 3 inches. We're going to drive with the hips and then finish with the press. Go ahead. Good. Reset. Good. It's going to be a dip, drive, and press again. What I want y'all to think about is I want you to dip, and when you transition into the drive, it's very aggressive and very quick. Don't pause, don't stop, don't do anything. Just dip, aggressively get out, and then press. Okay? Everybody in the setup? I'm going to say down, up is going to be your cue. Everybody be aggressive with the hips. Ready? Down, up. Good. Reset. 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 Okay. A little bit of faults I'm seeing around the room. There's a slight forward inclination of the chest. So when we dip, there should be no forward inclination of the chest. It's straight down. Everything's like a cylinder here. We're taking it straight down. So that means our knees are going forward and out with the knees. And then I drive through, still getting that head out of the way and keeping that straight bar path. Okay? So this is what we're working on, is that inclination of the chest is straight up and down. There's no forward inclination of it. Okay? It's just straight up and down, and we're going to return with that aggressive hip drive. All right? With that in mind, let's see it set up. Let's do 3 or 4 reps here. Nice setup. Get nice and tight. Elbows are slightly in front. Good. Ready. Down, up. Good. Reset. Ready. Down, up. Good. Reset. Ready. Stay back on me. Ready. Down, up. There we go. Better. Reset. Ready. Down, up. Good. Reset. Ready. Down, up. Reset. Don't overthink it. So, yeah. Reset. So I want you to dip, drive, and then at the last moment, press. By the way, the dip, drive, and the press, it must be in that order. If you begin to press before the drive, right, think about that from a physics standpoint, right? We're not getting anything out of the legs. We're loading the hips and legs, and we're using the power of the hips and legs to drive that weight overhead, okay? So it's a dip, drive, and then at the last moment, we're pressing. Matter of fact, if you're dipping and driving hard enough, right, there actually should be some momentum there, and actually all you're having to do is then finish in the press. Because the hips and the legs get it off, and then you finish, okay? So it's a dip, drive, repress. Let's see that happen. Ready? Tight core. Down, up. Reset. Ready. Down, up. Okay, better. Reset. Ready. Down, up. Good. Reset. Ready. Down, up. Good. Reset. Two more here. Good. Stay back on me. Ready? Down, up. Good. Even more. Reset. Come on back on me. Good. Ready? Yep. Everybody go down and stop in the dip. Down. Hold. Lean back on me. Do you feel it? There you are. There's where you're supposed to be. Ready? Up. Good. Reset. Try to do it on your own now. Ready, Max? Down, up. Much better, Max. Much better. Do you feel the difference there? Well done. Well done. All right, relax it for a moment. Everybody relax it out. Relax your shoulders. Thoughts, questions on that? Any learnings? Does it felt good there? Yeah. That was a tactile cue that I used with you.
For somebody who might be having finding either in the push press or at like high power position, would it be acceptable to have them instead of doing that fast to like start loading here and then just drive and push?
Sure, to learn it. Yeah.
Upright?
Yeah. Or get them on an upright. Your heels, hips, and shoulder blades are in line with the wall, and you get them dipping here. Get them dipping here. Learn the dip. Learn where they need to be. Right? Max was a quick learner. I got behind him, and I was able to hold him in the position. Break the positions down and get people to hold it isometrically so they feel it. Right? Sometimes I'll get people to load. Do you feel where you need to be? Yes. And I just let them stay in it for 10 seconds. Typically 10 or more seconds, their system will learn it and pick it up very quickly. You got? Yeah. And so that's where I'm going around the room, kind of fixing the dip drive a bit. The final piece would be to optimize the aggression that occurs in the drive. And if you're driving aggressively enough, your heels are probably going to come off the ground just a touch. You don't ever want to think about it. It's not something you think about doing. It's something that should just happen as a process of you driving your hips aggressively, right? So don't think about the heels coming off the ground at all, right? But if you do, drive really aggressively, you probably will. Yeah. We're over time. I figured some people were walking out. I was like, we might need to do a time check. All right.